Have you ever really thought about the toast you had for breakfast this morning? I mean, really thought about the incredible journey it took to get to your kitchen? It's a story that starts with just one tiny seed and ends with feeding billions of people. So today, let's pull back the curtain on that whole process, the story of how our food gets from the seed all the way to the silo. Okay, so let's start with the big question, the fundamental problem we're trying to solve. There are billions of us on this planet, and every single one of us needs to eat every single day. So how in the world do we produce enough food, manage it all, and get it to everyone? Well, the answer, believe it or not, is an idea that's been around for about 12,000 years, agriculture. This was the moment we humans shifted from just hunting and gathering to actually cultivating the land for staples like rice and wheat. And that one change, that's the foundation of modern civilization. It's why we can have cities. So let's frame this for what it really is. A massive, ongoing, global food challenge. And to get a handle on it, we first need to understand the absolute basics of the whole system. And at the heart of it all is a really simple idea, the crop. Now, this isn't just about growing a few plants in your backyard. A crop is when you cultivate the same kind of plant. We're talking wheat or corn or rice on a massive scale. It's that scale that makes feeding millions, even billions of people possible. So how does it all work? Well, the whole thing can be broken down into these 7 essential steps. This is our roadmap for today. We're going to walk through each one, from getting the ground ready all the way to putting the harvest away for later. Okay, first up, preparing the perfect seed bed, because you can't just toss some seeds on the ground and hope for the best. Long before you even think about planting, the soil itself has to be just right. And that's where tilling, or as you probably know it, ploughing, comes in. This is, without a doubt, the most critical first step. By turning over and loosening the soil, you're doing 2 really important things. You're making it easier for the roots to dig deep and to breathe, and you're bringing all that good, nutrient-rich soil from down below up to the surface. And wow, when you look at the old way versus the new way, you really see how much technology has changed the game. For centuries, this meant backbreaking work with a wooden plow pulled by animals. It was slow and exhausting. Today, a single farmer with a tractor can do that same work in a tiny fraction of the time. It's a total revolution. All right, the soil is ready. Now what? Time to pick the seeds. And the source material for this explainer brings up this really great, simple question that a kid asks their mom. Hey, why do some seeds float on water? And the answer is just, it's so simple, it's brilliant. It's a quick and easy quality check. See, damaged seeds are hollow, which makes them lighter, so they float. The healthy, good-to-go seeds are denser, so they sink to the bottom. It's a super clever, low-tech way for farmers to make sure they're only planting the best of the best. And you see that same huge leap in technology when it comes to actually planting those seeds. The old way involved a funnel-like tool, which was, well, it was kind of slow and not very precise. But the modern seed drill, it's another game changer. It doesn't just plant the seeds faster, it places them at the perfect depth and distance from each other, and it even covers them up with soil to protect them from hungry birds. It's all about efficiency. Okay, the seeds are in the ground. What's next? Well, now you've got to keep them alive and help them grow. This phase is all about 2 things, watering and feeding. Just like us, plants need food, and that food comes in 2 main flavors. First, you've got your man-made fertilizers. Think of these as a concentrated vitamin shot for the plants, packed with stuff like nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Then you have manure, which is the natural, organic option. It might have fewer nutrients, but it provides something called humus, which is absolutely vital for the long-term health of the soil. And that humus? That's the magic ingredient. It's what helps the soil hold on to water better, keeps it from getting all packed down and hard, and it encourages all those friendly little microbes to thrive. Basically, manure is all about building healthy soil for the long haul. Of course, plants also need water. And back in the day, you had these really clever but kind of clunky systems of pulleys and levers to get water to the fields. They worked, but they weren't very efficient. Now, compare that to a modern method like the drip system. It's incredible. It delivers water 1 single drop at a time right to the base of the plant. Almost 0 water is wasted, which is a huge deal, especially in dry parts of the world. Okay, so things are looking good. The crops are growing, they've got food, they've got water, but the job is far from over. Now it's about defense. You have to protect the harvest from a whole bunch of threats. And the number one enemy? Weeds. These guys are the bullies of the plant world. They show up uninvited and they start competing with your crop for everything: water, sunlight, nutrients, you name it. If you let them take over, they can seriously wreck your harvest. So what's a farmer to do? Well, there are pretty much two main approaches. You've got the old school way, getting in there with a little hand tool called a kerpie and physically yanking the weeds out. Or you've got the modern chemical approach, spraying special weedicides that are designed to kill the weeds without hurting the actual crop. And then, after months of hard work, it's finally the big day, harvest time. And this is where we meet a true modern marvel of engineering, the combine. This thing is a beast. It does two massive jobs at once. It's a harvester, so it cuts the crop, and it's a thresher, which means it separates the valuable grain from all the leftover stuff, which is called chaff. The grain's been harvested, but hold on, we're not done yet. You could argue this next step is just as important as growing the crop in the first place: getting it from the field into safe storage. Right, because you can't just dump all that freshly harvested grain in a big pile and call it a day. If you do, you're basically sending out an open invitation to moisture, which leads to mold and to pests like insects and rats. That's why the very first thing you have to do is properly dry the grain to get that moisture content way down. And how you store it really depends on how much you have. At home, people might use something cool like dried neem leaves, which act as a natural pest repellent. Scale it up a bit, and you're talking about jute bags or big metal bins. But when you're storing grain to feed a whole country, you need the big guns, giant silos and granaries, often with chemical treatments to make sure nothing gets spoiled. So let's just step back for a second and look at this whole journey. What we've seen is that growing our food isn't just luck or magic. It's a highly systematic, step-by-step process. Technology has completely transformed every single one of those steps, and it's this incredibly complex system that makes it possible to feed billions of people every day. You know, when you think about it, we've gone from a simple wooden plow to a GPS-guided combine that does the work of hundreds of people. It's just incredible. And it leaves you with a big question, right? This is the system that feeds us today. But with all the new challenges and crazy new technologies on the horizon, what will the farms of tomorrow even look like?